It's your best work, Basil. This has to be the best thing you've ever done. You must send it to the Grove Center. The academy is much too large. Yes, every time I've gone there, there's either too many people or too many paintings. The Grove Center really is the only place, Basil.
No, Harry, I don't think I'll send it anywhere. Old toss of the head. Nope, I'm not gonna send it anywhere.
Not send it anywhere? Why not? What old chaps you painters are. You do anything to get a reputation, then once you have one, you throw it away. There's only one thing worse than being talked about, and that's not being talked about. Why, this painting would put you far above all the young men in England. Not only that, it would make old men jealous. If old men are even capable of immersion.
I know you'll laugh, but I can't exhibit it because there's too much of myself in it, Harry.
Go on.
See, I know you would. Nevertheless, it's true. There's far too much of myself in it.
Too much of yourself? Basil, I never knew you were so vain. I hardly see any resemblance between you, with your coal-black hair and rugged features, and this young Adonis, made from ivory and rose leaves. Basil, he's a Narcissus, and you have an intellectual expression about you. I'm sorry, but real beauty begins where intellect ends. Where one is thinking, you become all nose or forehead or something else horrid. All the intellectuals in history are perfectly hideous, except for the bishop. And then, of course, the bishop only recites the same thing he was taught from when he was 18. Your young mysterious friend, whom you've not given me the name of, never thinks. He's a brainless yet beautiful creature who should be here when we have no flowers to look at. Don't flatter yourself, Basil. You're nothing like him.
You don't understand, Harry. I know I look nothing like him. In fact, I should be glad I don't. You shrug your shoulders? It's the truth. I feel glad for the ugly and stupid. They get to sit back and watch the world at their ease. Your wealth, my intellect, and Dorian Gray's beauty. We shall all suffer for them immensely.
Interested Dorian Gray?
Yes, that's his name. I hadn't intended you to tell you that.
But why not?
I can't really explain. When I like people immensely, I never tell anyone their names. It's like surrendering part of them. I've grown to love secrecy. It seems to be the one thing that makes modern life mysterious or even marvelous to us. The most common thing is delightful if one only hides it. Now when I leave town, I never tell people where I'm going. If I do, I lose pleasure in it. It's a silly habit, I dare say, but it does bring a great deal of romance into one's life. Now I suppose you think me foolish.
Oh, not at all. You forgot, Basil. I am married. The charm of marriage is that it makes a life of deception necessary for both parties. I never know where my wife is and vice versa. Then when we meet, we do occasionally for lunch or go down to the Duke's. We tell each other absurd stories with serious faces. She's much better at it than me. I get confused about my dates sometimes. When she finds me out, she merely laughs at me.
I hate the way you talk about your married life. Begins to make his way towards the door to his house. I believe you're a good husband, and that you're just thoroughly ashamed of your own virtues. You're an extraordinary fellow. You never say a moral thing, and yet you never do anything wrong. Your cynicism is merely a pose.
Being natural is a pose, and the most irritating pose I know.
Good jest.
I'm afraid that I must be going, but before I do, I insist on you answering my earlier question.
And what question is that, Harry?
You know damn well, Basil.
I do not.
I want the real reason why you won't exhibit Dorian Gray's picture. Too much of yourself in it, that's childish.
Harry, every portrait is one of the artist, not the sitter. Then the sitter becomes merely an accident, an occasion. The artist has then portrayed himself on the colored pages. I'm afraid that I've shown it in the secret of my own soul.
And what is that?
I'll tell you.
I'm all expectation.
But there's hardly anything to tell. I'm afraid you'll neither understand nor believe it.
I'm sure I'll understand it. Fiddling with a daisy from the table beside him. And I'll believe anything so long as it's incredible.
The story is simply this. I went to a crush at Lady Brandon's, you know. We artists have to show ourselves in public from time to time.
I am waiting. Do come in. The light is quite perfect. And you can bring your drinks.
You are glad to have met me, Mr. Gray.
Yes, I'm glad now. I wonder, shall I always be glad?
Always, that is a dreadful word. It makes me shudder when I hear it. Women are so fond of using it. They spoil every romance by trying to make it last forever. It is a meaningless word, too. The only difference between a caprice and a long life passion is that the caprice lasts a little longer.
In that case, let our friendship be a caprice.
My dear fellow, I congratulate you most warmly. It is the finest portrait of modern times, Mr. Gray. Come over and look at it yourself.
Is it really finished?
Quite finished. And you have sat splendidly today. I am awfully obliged to you.
That is entirely due to me, isn't it, Mr. Gray?
It's beautiful. Why can't I always look like this? God, I wish I could always look like this. I stayed young in the painting age.